Panasonic full-frame mirrorless cameras. They're here. They're near. So get used to it. Greetings, Earthlings. It's Ben Aqua. Panasonic just announced two new full-frame mirrorless cameras, the S1R and the S1. So let's talk about some of the details of this camera, and then I'm gonna give you a little bit of my own perspective whether I'm gonna upgrade or not, so stick around. The S1R has a 47 megapixel sensor and the S1 has a 24 megapixel sensor. Both of these full-frame mirrorless cameras will have 4K 60p video, fast and accurate autofocus, dual image stabilization, a large high resolution EVF that's supposed to be close to what we actually see with our eyeballs, which is insane. Double card slot for XQD and SD cards, 3-axis tiltable LCD, 100% weather sealing. The high speed, high precision autofocus system still uses contrast autofocus and depth from defocus DFD technology. Let's talk about autofocus for a second, because if you've seen my channel before, you know that I am a fan of Panasonic cameras, but the one thing, I think it's really the one thing about Panasonic Lumix cameras that drives me a little bonkers is the video autofocus. Y'all need to get this right. So just seeing that they use contrast AF again with depth from defocus technology is a little bit sketchy to me. They say it's like the best ever that they've used and they have new crazy technology. I'll believe it when I see it. So one of the big kickers of this camera is, yes, it's a full frame mirrorless camera, so it has a new mount that they're calling the L mount. And this is part of a partnership that Panasonic is doing with Leica and Sigma. And with this whole like intergalactic alliance of 3 companies, Panasonic said that you can use all of the already existing Leica L mount lenses on this new full frame camera. And they're also introducing 3 new S series lenses, the 50mm f1.4, the standard zoom 24 to 105, and then a telephoto zoom, a 70 to 200 millimeter. And there's even this really futuristic looking, almost matrix graphic where they demonstrate that the L mount has unlimited potential and possibilities. But you know that little L, like if Leica is part of it, I think some of the prices of these S-series lenses is gonna be only for people with an unlimited budget, because apparently Leica lenses have to be like $5,000. And if you look at all this kind of pre-marketing stuff that Panasonic is doing, obviously they're going for the more professional user, whatever the hell that means. But knowing Panasonic and how Leica prices their things in particular, it's probably gonna be expensive. The word professional is in there, which is like the key word for, we're gonna charge at least $2 grand for the body alone. It's kind of like saying that this is something that's meant for the office, so there's like an office tax. Same chocolate, different wrapper. So a lot of the initial specs to me just kind of look like what you would expect in a full frame mirrorless camera at this point, considering Canon announced the EOS R, there's the Nikon Z7, Z6, and then there's the Sony a7 III. We have a really interesting predicament in the camera world right now where all these companies are like battling it to the finish in some kind of giant wrestling match. The a7 III looks like a beast. I think the a7 III is actually the best one out of those, maybe. I've never even used a Nikon camera before, but the Z7 and the Z6 have insane autofocus that just makes me drool every time I see it. I'm just so envious. Another thing about the S1 and the S1R that's a little bit suspicious is the LCD screen. They call it a 3-axis tiltable LCD screen. Does tiltable mean that it's not gonna fully flip around? One thing that I think Panasonic just keeps doing right is Panasonic is really good about giving us flip screens. And y'all know, if you do a lot of YouTube videos like me, or if you wanna shoot a lot of epic selfies, you're gonna need that flip screen. It's just so convenient. That's really the deal killer for me for a lot of Sony cameras. A6500, amazing camera, but no flip screen. So I really hope the S1R and the S1 have a fully flippable screen. And to me, that'll set apart Panasonic from a lot of other companies that just refuse to give us flip screens for whatever insane reason. All right, so here's what Ben Aqua thinks about these new cameras. First of all, yes, I am excited about a full-frame mirrorless camera. I haven't used a full-frame camera since my Canon 5D. I switched over to the Micro Four Thirds system, which I really hope Panasonic just does not just abandon out in the wilderness at this point. I was really hoping that Panasonic would announce like the new GH6 or the new G95, something to give us Micro Four Thirds addicts something to chew on for a little while. I do think full frame sensors are amazing. I think it depends on what you're gonna be using your camera for. But you know, I'm filming on the G85 right now by Panasonic. I love this camera, as a lot of y'all know. Almost everything on my YouTube has been filmed with this camera. To me, it looks fantastic. It shoots 4K video. Yeah, the autofocus on it could be improved, but for the most part, it's an amazing camera. I'm really excited about all the possibilities of full frame, but what I'm not excited about is the bigger size of these full frame cameras. They're gonna weigh more. The lenses are like these massive bricks. And one of my favorite things about Micro Four Thirds is just how small the cameras are. The quality is really good. You don't compromise the quality just because you have a smaller sensor in all cases. The GH5, for example, is an incredible camera. Yes, it has a smaller Micro Four Thirds sensor. It's not full frame, but y'all have seen the quality that it produces. It's fantastic. But yeah, I don't think it's about the size of the sensor all the time, unless you're like shooting in like a damn cave and you need like crazy low light, no noise having videos, and you have like $5 million. Yes, you're gonna get the full frame mirrorless. I'm trying not to get super mesmerized by the trend of full frame mirrorless because I can't really justify shelling out another several $1,000s on a ton of different lenses for a different lens system. Like all of my lenses are Micro Four Thirds lenses. I think Panasonic would be really, really smart to announce some kind of adapter where you can adapt your Micro Four Thirds lenses for the new L mount. That way they can bridge the gap more with people like me and a lot of you who follow my channel who already have all this Micro Four Thirds stuff. But really overall, my biggest concern is budget. Number 2 is autofocus, and I really hope that that tiltable screen is gonna be a full-on flip screen, because if it doesn't have a flip screen, honestly, I don't think I would get it. So I do applaud all these companies for creating like this new system of full frame mirrorless that's gonna get like the craziest quality. Like the technology just gets better and better and better. But I'm a little skeptical about whether or not these kind of cameras are actually needed by a lot of people. Like, I know there's a lot of hype about them, but do we really need bigger sensors? I mean, Micro Four Thirds is crazy quality, and the price is right. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think about the new S1 and the S1R. The prices and details for these cameras are both super nebulous. They're very vague at this point. The cameras are supposed to be released in early 2019. So hopefully we'll get more juicy details about both of these cameras and the lenses that come with them in the coming months. So what do you think? Do you think that the full frame mirrorless thing is just like this huge marketing ridiculousness? Or do you actually think that full frame mirrorless is gonna be the future? Let me know in the comments what you think. I love replying and seeing what all of you are up to. If you haven't already, smash, demolish, slay that like button. Subscribe, maybe even click on that little notification bell if you're feeling a little extra delicious today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.